Every year, the traveling carnival leaves something behind. A forgotten stuffed animal, a half-eaten bag of popcorn, the ghost of a child's laughter. But this year, it left something else. This year, it left a mask. My name is Eli. I'm 17, and my story begins at the edge of town, where the faded carnival tents stood like weary giants against the darkening sky. The usual buzz was gone, replaced by the whisper of wind rustling through forgotten banners. Most of the rides and stalls had packed up and vanished overnight, but one remained, tucked away in the shadows. It was an old, dilapidated stall, the kind you'd walk past without a second thought. But something drew me in. Inside, there was just a cracked mirror and, hanging from a rusty hook, a single white porcelain mask. It was simple, almost plain, but its smile, it was faint, yet deeply unsettling. A sign, hand-painted in peeling red letters, hung beside it. It read, "Put it on. Be your truest self." I laughed it off, thinking it was just some leftover prop, a perfect, creepy souvenir. So I took it. That was my first mistake. Back in my room, the mask sat on my desk, its painted smile seeming to watch my every move. The silence of the house felt heavy, and the mask's presence filled the space. Just for a laugh, I picked it up. The porcelain was cold, unnervingly smooth against my fingertips. I turned on my phone camera, held the mask to my face, and pressed it on. It was a joke, something to send to my friends. But the moment it touched my skin, the joke was over. It fit perfectly, almost too perfectly. It was as if it had been molded just for me. Every edge seemed to melt and vanish, like it wasn't a separate object at all, but a part of my own face. A shiver ran down my spine and I quickly pulled it off, tossing it back on the desk. I took a quick selfie to capture the weird moment, to show my friends the creepy carnival find. But when I looked at the photo, my blood ran cold. In the picture on my screen, the mask was still on my face. My real smile was gone, replaced by its painted permanent grin. I lowered my phone, my heart pounding in my chest. In the dark reflection of the screen, behind my own shocked face, the mask on my desk just kept smiling. The next few days were a blur of growing paranoia. It started subtly. A glimpse in a shop window as I walked past. My reflection, for just a split second, was wearing the mask. I'd blink, shake my head, and it would be gone. I told myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me, that I was just spooked from the other night. But then it happened again. In the bathroom mirror, in the reflection of a puddle on the pavement, even in the polished back of a spoon at dinner. Every time I saw myself, I saw that smiling porcelain face looking back. My reflection wasn't mine anymore. It was him, the mask. And the worst part, it didn't blink when I did. It didn't flinch when I moved. It just stared with that fixed, unnatural grin. I tried to prove I was crazy. I covered the mirror in my room, but that only made me see it everywhere else. Finally, in a fit of panic, I grabbed a book and hurled it at my bedroom mirror. The glass shattered, exploding into a spiderweb of cracks. But my relief lasted only a moment. Behind each and every shard of broken glass, a dozen tiny mask faces grinned back at me, their smiles multiplied and distorted. I started avoiding my own reflection entirely. I draped sheets over every mirror in the house, turned my phone face down, and walked with my head low to avoid catching a glimpse of myself in car windows. But you can't run from your own face forever. My friends started to notice something was off. "Eli, you okay?" they'd ask. "You look different." They couldn't put their finger on it, but I could. It was my smile. It felt wrong. When I forced a smile for a group photo, it felt too wide, too sharp, unnatural. When I saw the picture later, my stomach dropped. My smile was a perfect copy of the mask's. I locked myself in my room, pulling up old videos on my laptop, desperate to see my real face, my real smile. but a new horror awaited me. In videos from a week ago, my smile was normal. A few days ago, it was slightly off. In a video from yesterday, the mask was there, faintly like a ghostly overlay, but it was there. It wasn't just following me in reflections anymore. It was becoming me. It was rewriting my past. My own voice started to sound strange, distant, with a faint hollow echo behind every word. I stood in front of a covered mirror, my hands trembling. I forced my face into a frown, a grimace, anything but a smile. But I just knew, that beneath the sheet, my reflection was still smiling. I had to go back. I had to know where it came from. I drove back to the edge of town, to the empty field where the carnival had been. The grounds were deserted, littered with stray bits of trash. Everything was gone, just as I'd expected. Except for one thing. The stall. The same dilapidated, lonely stall stood exactly where I'd found it, as if it had never left. As I got closer, my heart hammered against my ribs. The sign was different. The red paint was fresh, no longer peeling. It now read, "Keep smiling, you're almost perfect." A cold dread washed over me, and then I heard it. Laughter. It wasn't coming from around me, but from inside me. A chorus of faint, mocking chuckles that echoed in my own mind. That's when I understood. The mask didn't want to wear me. It wanted to be seen through me. A figure stepped out from the shadows of the stall. He was tall, dressed in a carny's old-fashioned uniform, but his face, he didn't have one. It was a smooth, blank expanse of skin. He was holding another mask, identical to mine. "You've done well," he said, his voice like rustling leaves. "We needed a new face." I don't remember how I got home. The next thing I knew, I was waking up in my own bed. Sunlight streamed through the window. I felt normal, clear. The heavy paranoia was gone. The faint echo in my head was silent. I sat up, my heart filled with a desperate hope. Was it all a nightmare? I stumbled to the bathroom, my hand shaking as I reached for the sheet covering the mirror. I ripped it down. My face. It was my face. My own skin. My own eyes. My own mouth. Relief, so powerful it almost brought me to my knees, washed over me. I looked at myself, truly looked, for the first time in what felt like an eternity. I was free. To celebrate, I smiled. A real, genuine smile of pure relief. But then, I stopped smiling. My lips returned to a neutral line. But, in the mirror, my reflection didn't. It kept smiling that wide, sharp, unnatural smile. And for the first time, I realized the terrifying truth. I wasn't smiling anymore. The mask was. My reflection, that thing wearing my face, slowly raised a hand and waved at me. Then it turned and walked away, disappearing from the mirror, leaving me staring at an empty reflection. I was no longer in control. They say the traveling carnival brings joy to every town it visits. A little bit of magic, a little bit of wonder. They also say it leaves something behind. A memory, a prize, a mask. A new carnival has just set up in a small, quiet town hundreds of miles away. A teenage girl, bored on a Friday night, wanders through the flickering lights. She spots a lonely stall at the edge of the fairgrounds. Inside, hanging from a hook, is a beautiful white porcelain mask with a faint, captivating smile. The sign beside it reads, "Put it on. Be your truest self." She reaches for it, intrigued. They say the mask copies your face when you put it on. But what if, over time, it's your face that starts copying it? The girl lifts the mask to her face. The camera pushes in, closer and closer to the smooth white porcelain. And there, just beneath the glossy surface, faintly visible like a ghost in the glaze, is a face. My face. Trapped. And smiling forever. Who's wearing who? Thank you so much for joining me on this chilling tale. If you enjoyed this story and want more original horror, don't forget to hit that like button And subscribe to the channel for new videos every week. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the ending. Stay safe, and always be careful what you pick up at the carnival.